Hey, what's up guys? Soldier Knows Best here. Now, a question that a lot of people had, including myself, of Google this year was how are they going to improve the already fantastic cameras in the Pixel 2 with the cameras that are in the new Pixel 3. And so I'm just going to be showing you some of the things I was able to capture with this phone and kind of give you my insight on what you're looking at and kind of just give you a sense of what this phone is going to be capable of. And so I'm going to start off with the feature that I use the most with this phone, and that's going to be portrait mode. Now, this particular shot is taken with the front-facing cameras, and you can see that it does a pretty good job at outlining myself to really allow the background to be nice and blurry, but me to be in focus. Now, if I do want to nitpick, I can zoom in here around my jacket and also around my ears in a couple places, and you can see that it does miss a little bit, but this is me zooming in and looking for the imperfections. I think if you're just glancing at the image, you're really not going to pay attention to them. And I do like the fact that just looking in the background, you'll see with the clouds and the sun kind of behind the clouds a little bit, it still does a great job handling high dynamic range and really making sure that picture all the way through is going to be looking very pleasing. Now, when you do take a picture in portrait mode, it saves that image and also another image that doesn't have the background blur effect, so you can quickly have access to both of them. And I find that, you know, when I look at these two photos side by side, I actually do prefer a little bit the one without the portrait mode effect, because I can really get a sense of the environment that I'm in and what's going on in the background just a little bit more. And then if you want to kind of have the best of both worlds, you can now adjust the background blur, so you can go in and edit the photo and have a little slider there where you can slide it up and down, make it as creamy as you want. Why do I keep saying creamy with portrait mode? I got to stop that. But you can make it as blurry as you want and just make it and adjust it to your personal liking. And so portrait mode works great not only with faces, but also too with smaller objects like these flowers. And it's very fast to be able to lock on and track onto that subject and be able to allow you to take that picture very quickly. But don't feel like you need to use portrait mode all the time, because sometimes I do find myself doing that. This particular image was not taken with portrait mode, which is taken with the regular camera mode, but it still has a very nice blurry background to it. And so Google has added a second front-facing camera this year, and this camera is going to be focused on allowing you just to be able to fit more things inside of your picture. So either you're just taking a picture of yourself and you just want to have more of the background in it, or if you're trying to get a lot of people inside of one group selfie, the secondary camera does come in handy. Now let's move around to the back of the phone, and you're going to find one single 12.2 megapixel rear-facing camera. And so where other phones are going with 2, 3, 4, even more cameras, Google is saying, hey, just look at what we can do with one camera, and I still think they're doing one of the best jobs, if not the best job, in the camera department. Now you can see there's a lot of processing going on with these photos, and sometimes I feel like it can look a little too processed, and you can see where it may be a little bit darker in areas, or it's just showing a little bit too much detail, which is not a bad problem to have. But if you are going to be taking pictures with this, just do know that you're going to have a certain type of look to your photos, and I pretty much can pick out a Google Pixel photo on the web almost every single time. Now, so far, all the photos that I've been showing you have been taken in the daytime, but what about those low light nighttime shots? Well, I will have to say that I did find myself having to use that exposure slider just a little bit more than I wanted to with this phone, where you just need to kind of make it a little bit darker than what the auto mode is doing for you, because if you just allow it to stay on auto, there's a good chance you may have a little bit more grainy footage, a little bit more noise in your footage. But if you do take a couple seconds just to move that slider down just a little bit, in most cases, your picture's going to come out a lot better. Now, when you do dial it in and you hit that shutter button, you can get a fantastic image like this one, where you can see just the lights bouncing off the leaves, and everything just looks really crisp in this particular photo. So it does take sometimes just a little bit of work, a little bit extra work than I want to, but it can do a fantastic job in low light. I just think it just needs to be a little bit more consistent on its own. And now let's jump over to the video recording capabilities, and all the videos I'm showing you have been taken with the rear-facing camera at 4K at 30 frames per second. And you can see that it's not going to be the best in class, but the video will be able to come out decent with this camera. And in daytime, it does look really solid, but once you get into low light shots at nighttime, you can start to see the quality degrade. But just like with the photos, a lot of times you just have to take that exposure slider and drag it down a little bit to get just a better video image. But one thing that is impressive is the video stabilization. It's some of the best that I've seen on the phone. So you're going to be able to move around a little bit and not have to worry about getting a lot of shaky video from this phone. All right, so just wrapping things up, the Pixel 3 is kind of setting the standard for smartphone cameras right now. And the Pixel 2 from last year can probably still beat a good amount of the competition, but the Pixel 3 is stepping it up with their software game. And so ultimately right now, and I think I said this earlier, that when I take a picture with this, I'm very confident I'm gonna get a solid image 9 times out of 10 with this. So it's just very reliable, and the selfie game and the portrait mode game cannot be matched by any other phone right now, in my opinion. So if you're looking for a phone with some of the best cameras, if not the best cameras in a smartphone, the Pixel 3 is definitely one to go with. And so stay tuned for my full review of this phone to talk about everything else that really makes this phone tick, because a lot of other stuff that goes into it to make this one of the best phones of the year so far. So Again, subscribe to me here on YouTube if you haven't already to be notified when I upload that video. And also make sure you do follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter and Facebook accounts, because I will be posting photos and other things that I take with this phone so you can get a better look at some of the images. And like always, guys, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace.